about when he had me removed from the home. He got an order against me. He had me removed from the home. And it's complicated and very messy. He had a lawyer, I did not. The judge upheld it. I ended up staying with a friend from work. She was a single mom, and they stayed there for 7 months on and off during the divorce until I could get the money together to get an apartment. After about 5 months of doing OnlyFans, I had enough money to have my lawyer, to maintain all of my bills, because I had taken all of the bills at this point because he stopped paying them. So I was paying all of our credit card debt, all of our business debt, everything that was in my name, but it was his debt. I began paying all of that. OnlyFans was going really well. I got upgraded to a full-time job at my old part-time job. So I was working full-time. I was working on OnlyFans full-time. I was also babysitting my roommate's child in exchange for I was helping with part of the bills and then doing that to help her out. So it was kind of like this win-win. We were kind of working together. Go girls. We were girl squad. We had it all. We were running a house together, and we were making everything work. And then I got enough money to move into my own apartment. And so I had the lawyer, the apartment, and I was continuing to do OnlyFans, continuing to work full time. And that worked out really well for quite some time. And then the divorce was finalized. But in the middle of the divorce, and this is the key part that I need to go over, I could have afforded my apartment and my own bills on my full-time job, but because I had A, taken his bills, and because B, he had discovered one of these little sites that are out there that are not affiliated with OnlyFans. They are put out there to they're like Fan Fanatic or Fan Statistics or whatever. And what they do is they take like how many followers they think you have or how many likes you're getting, things like that. And they kind of ballpark how much they think you're making per month. One of his friends either subscribed to me on OnlyFans or found out that I had an OnlyFans because I had to promote it on some of my social medias. Somebody found out about it. Somebody subscribed to me. They started talking about how I was doing really well on there, or they thought I was doing really well on there. His lawyer found this little fan site that had an estimate for my income that was not accurate, but that was enough to order full disclosure of my documents. So as we were, disclosing, and I was 100% accurate to the point where I don't even think my lawyer wanted me to be as honest as I was being, because I was including every penny everywhere that I was getting, and I was disclosing it to him because I wanted to be honest about everything. And so once he saw that I was making more money than he was, even though I had never worked in our marriage and I had been a stay-at-home mom, he went after me for alimony and child support. He was not awarded alimony, of course, because of the terms of, it was decided that if we were going to have children, that I was going to be the stay-at-home mom and that he was going to be the primary breadwinner. And so that was just our agreement throughout marriage. And so he was not entitled to alimony at this point. Plus, I had been out of the home for a full 2 or 3 months before I started my OnlyFans. So I wasn't even living under that roof when I started my OnlyFans. So I needed to then, he was awarded the child support for our younger child who was in high school at this point. And I walked away from the house so that he could raise the kids there. One was at college, one was there. And I didn't want to disrupt everything about their lives and make them live in a 2-bedroom apartment in the city when they had this house that they had lived in their whole lives. So I walked away from that under the agreement that I would get the house back at some point after he had finished paying off the refi mortgage that he put on there. After that was done, I would take the house back over. I'm going to get the house back in a year. I have to buy him out. It's a huge amount of money, but it's the house that my dad was born in. It's my grandmother's house. It's been in the family. It's in both of our names because I trusted him, and so therefore he's entitled to half of what he thought the value was at the time. So because the child support went on until she graduated from school, I had no choice but to pay the child support based on what I had initially been making on OnlyFans. So I was not able to walk away from OnlyFans because there was no way that I could earn the extra money per month to pay the child support that I had to pay him until she graduated from high school. She graduated from high school, and 6 months later, I stopped my day job and started doing this full time because this was a more lucrative job for me than my day job. This is all off kilter. So the long and the short of it is, we had been moving in this direction. We had been creating this online presence of me being a little more daring. And when the whole divorce played out online, as everybody taking sides, people unfollowing him, people unfollowing me, people taking sides in the divorce, us tweeting about the divorce a little bit early on, until he stopped that altogether for, like, I had an NDA on my whole divorce, and after, I can't get into the details of the divorce because of the NDA. So, anyway, because that was playing out, the natural transition post-COVID was to go into OnlyFans, which is what everybody was doing. And so I started doing OnlyFans, and then the courts made it almost impossible for me to quit because I wouldn't have been able to pay my bills. And so to preserve my credit, to pay my lawyer, to pay my rent, to pay off his debt, I had no choice but to continue on with OnlyFans. And now I'm really happy that I'm here. I know this is an incredibly long video, and if you are still here with me at the end, God bless you. I love you guys. So basically, I'm here now because I want to be. Initially, I was here because I had to be. So that is why I do OnlyFans. That is why I continue to do OnlyFans. I am 53 years old. So if you are following me on there, my game plan is I would love to be doing this for like another maybe 5 years and then transition into something else. I don't know. I've been on there 5 years at this point. 5 years would put me at 58. That may be way too old to be on there. I don't know. So I am hoping that I can get back into my house, get the house renovated to where it needs to be. It's a 18th century farmhouse. It's very old. It is not a glamorous farmhouse by any means. It is very much a poor man's farmhouse. It's on a little chunk of land. It's nice. I love it, but I have all of the emotional attachments to it. My kids were raised there. I grew up next door. It was my grandmother's house. I love the house. I love the house. I love the land. I want to be there. So that's my plan, and that's why I'm on there. And if you want to support me on OnlyFans, I appreciate it. If not, I understand. It's certainly not for everybody, but I love you guys, and I know this is a ridiculously long explanation, but I'm hoping that in the future people will see it and they'll know why I'm on there. And I guess if it makes sense to you, that's why I'm there. And so I wanted to spell it all out in a way that I can. I can't use the words child support on OnlyFans because you can't talk about children on OnlyFans. And so it would always, blurt that out. I can't really talk about protection from abuse because you can't talk about abuse. I can call it a PFA, but not everybody knows that. So, there's a lot of details of my divorce that I can't discuss when I'm actually on the platform. So I just wanted to come on here and just give you guys like the full overview. And this is by no means comprehensive, but like the overview of why I do OnlyFans and why I'm going to continue to do OnlyFans. I hope that makes sense. I love you guys. Take care. If you're not following, please follow me. I love you guys.